Hello everyone. So I'll be taking us through how to take accurate body measurement using this body form. This is a mannequin, or you call it a body form. Now I'll be using this as an example on how to take accurate body measurement. Peradventure you want to take it on someone, or you want somebody to take it on you. This is how I'm going to teach us how to go about it so that you know how to position your tape around every part and then get accurate body measurement. And then before we go ahead, there are three categories of how to take body measurements. We have the vertical body measurement, we have the horizontal body measurement, and we also have the circumferential measurement. So before we go ahead, please welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. Yes, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always stopping by. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for also stopping by. Please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel because here you are going to get premium content. You are going to get good content that will benefit you and will enhance you in your field as a fashion designer. Yes. So let's proceed. Also, like, give me a thumbs up, turn on your notification bell so that anytime I post anything on my YouTube channel, you'll be first to know about it. Yes. So let's go ahead. So we have three categories of body measurements. Now, I said the first one is vertical body measurement. Now, when you talk about a vertical body measurement, you're talking about something that is on a standing position, that is on a straight standing position. Now, the body is in that form. We have measurement that you take like this, vertical. You have measurement that you take like this, horizontal, and then circumferential. You have measurement that you take around the body. That is what we call circumferential measurement. So now let's start with the vertical body measurement. Now, the vertical body measurement, I said it's this way, right? In the standing position. Now, we have what we call shoulder to bust point. Now, when you want to position your tape rule, ensure that you know there is a middle point on our shoulder. So that middle point on our shoulder is where you position your tape. Don't take your tape behind, and don't take it less than. Do we understand? Don't position your tape this way. Position your tape midway on the shoulder. And when you want to measure, ensure that your tape rule is on the highest point of the shoulder, which is like this. Don't not on the neck side though. Just make sure it's on the highest point, which is here. Now we have shoulder to bust point. Now this is our bust point. They call it nipple to nipple. This is our nipple. That point where the bust is rising. That middle point of the bust. That middle point of the bust, which the nipple is. That is where your bust point is. Call it bust span or bust point or nipple to nipple. Now, this is our shoulder to bust point too. For this mannequin now, the shoulder to bust point here is about, yes, about 10 inches. The shoulder to bust point of this particular mannequin is about 10 inches. Yes, 10 inches. 10 inches. This is the middle part of the bust. That point where the bust is pointed and the bust at the middle. This is the middle part of the bust. This is it, 10 inches. Now that's your first horizontal measurement. Take note. The second horizontal measurement still is from the shoulder, the highest point of the shoulder, to your under bust. Now, when you are measuring for your under bust, ensure that you take your tape rule like this. Let it follow the shape of the bust and take it to your under bust. Now, the under bust of this particular mannequin or body form I'm working with is 13 inches. Sorry, 13.5. That's where the under bust is. Now the second measurement is our shoulder to half length. That is the natural waist. Our half length. Now let me give you a clue of where your half length is. The arm length is usually between 2 to 3 inches after the under bust, which is almost the same place, the same point where your elbow, this the folding middle part of your elbow is. Do you understand? Now, when you want to measure this now, look at it. You are still going to make sure that your tape rule goes this way. If you measure like this, you end up not getting accurate measurement. You end up getting a shorter measurement. So always ensure that when you are measuring your vertical measurement, taking your vertical measurement, your tape rule must go under. It must go under like this, and then you take your measurement. Now, if you look at this is where the shaping of the what's it called is the elbow point. This is where it's going in, this point. Now let's bring our tape to that point. That's around this place. You can see is about 16.5. About 16.5. That's almost 3 inches below, or let's say 2 inches, because I said our half length here is 13.5, and we have 16.5. That's about 2 inches. Just like I said, it's usually 2 to 3 inches after the under bust. Now your own under bust might be another inch, it might be 15, might be 14. Just measure it and check. Now we have gotten where the point where our natural waist is, that is the half length. We got 16.5. Then we have the waist as well. That's where you normally put your trouser, where your skirt stays, that point, your waist. Now the waist of this mannequin is around this point. So you ensure your tape rule is on this point of your shoulder, bring it below, and then you can leave it this way so that you can be able to get what you are measuring. Then you take and check, where is the waist. This is the waist of my mannequin, and it's telling me 20 inches. So the shoulder to waist of this mannequin is 20 inches. Now the next vertical measurement is shoulder to hip. Now when you want to check for your hip, shoulder to hip points, or hip length, now is that you are going to position your tape at that point where you see your hip going higher, I mean pointing out very well. Look at this mannequin. At that point where your hip begins to, that's the middle side, this is where the mannequin's shoulder to hip is, not below the hip. The point where your hip begins to rise. Let me use myself as an example. And you see, this is the point where my hip begins to rise. That is the middle part of my hip. I'm showing also that we can see this is the middle part of my hip. So when I'm taking my tape rule, I bring it under my bust and then bring it this way and check. So that's the point where I'm going to stop my shoulder to hip measurement. So let's take it and confirm what this one is going to be. Position your tape properly, so that at the end of the day you get something more accurate. Okay. Now the shoulder to hip point of this is 25. Yes, this is 25. Okay, 26 actually. 20. Yes, 25 inches. I've seen it. 25 inches is the shoulder to hip point. Sorry, our tape is shaking now. So 26, I've repositioned my tape. It was shaking as it grew. So 26 is the shoulder to hip point, hip length of this particular mannequin. 26. Now there's another thing. Waist, when we are working with a skirt, peradventure you want to make a skirt, there's what they call waist to hip length. Now you position your tape on that point where your waist is, or some people wear their skirt above their waist. They want their stomach to be covered and all. So wherever your client wants their waist measurement to start from, take your tape rule from that point to that same point where the hip begins to rise. That is the middle part of the hip. So now we are going to take our tape and position it at that point where the waist of this mannequin is, which is around this side. When you position it, then you measure and check where is the middle part. The middle part, use your eyes to check, you see it. This is 6 inches. The middle part is 6 inches. So the waist to what is it called, hip length of this mannequin is 6 inches, which is this point. 6. Now there's also what we call shoulder to knee, and there's also what we call waist to knee. Per measure you are working with a skirt, you measure waist to knee. So let's just confirm waist to knee before we measure shoulder to knee. So our waist measurement is here. Okay, this is where the knee of this mannequin is, 23 inches. This is now when you are measuring waist to knee, don't measure below the knee of the person. Measure to the middle part of the knee. The middle part, that middle point, this point, measure to the knee, the middle part of the person's knee, and it will give you accuracy. So this is about, okay, this is about 22 inches. I've checked it. 22 inches. Do we understand? Now the next thing is, I said you can also measure shoulder to knee, because when you are making a long gown or even a short gown, you will still need it. Yes, you will still need it. So it's part of the vertical measurement. So let's take it. So our shoulder to knee for this one is 41 inches. For this mannequin is 41 inches. Don't forget to always position your tape under this part. Then when you are taking the full length of a dress, you want to make a gown, a long gown, you can now take the full length of the dress to the point where you want where you want your gown to stop. If you want, it can be floor length. If you want it, it can be by your ankle, and that goes on. If it is short gown, you measure it to the point where you want it to be. If it is a short skirt, you position your tape on the waist and measure it where you want it to be. If it is long, you measure it downwards to where you want it to be. Then another vertical measurement is our sleeve length. When you want to measure the sleeve length, you position your tape. Now, for this mannequin, I wouldn't want to use this mannequin because of the way the division here is. So let me just use my own self. Let me use myself as an example. Now, when you want to measure sleeve length, this is the point where the shoulder stops. Now, from this point to this point where the shoulder begins to go down, this is the end of your shoulder measurement. When you are measuring shoulder to shoulder, this is the end of your shoulder measurement. So now from this point where the shoulder begins to fall down, that is where you position your tape. You position your tape and measure to the length where you want your sleeve length to be. It can be short length, it can be elbow length, it can be 3/4 length, it can be long sleeve. That is long length. Yes. So now let's go to I've showed us, this is also our sleeve length is also a vertical measurement. So let's go to our horizontal measurements. We have two basic horizontal measurements, and that is our shoulder to shoulder points, which is shoulder measurements. Now for this mannequin, now forget about this division, because most times is usually we don't usually have such visible parts on the human body. So let's assume this side is covered. So for this mannequin, the shoulder to shoulder point is let's see. Now see the way I'm positioning my tape. I'm positioning it in this way. See it. It's following the shaping of this. I'm not positioning it like this. I am raising it up and bringing it back. Can you see? I raised it up and I brought it back. Now, if you look at the point where I'm putting my tape, you see that I'm putting it at the beginning of this point, which the shoulder ends, and the hand begins to fall down, and then to this point where the hand begins to fall down, and this is giving me 16 inches. So the shoulder measurement of this particular mannequin is 16 inches. Now, that's one of the horizontal measurements we have. When you are talking about horizontal, we mean something on the straight line like this. Vertical is like this. Horizontal is like this. So now the second horizontal measurement we are going to take is our bust span. Bust span, you can call it bust span, you can call it nipple to nipple, you can also call it bust point. Yes, you call it bust point, nipple to nipple, or bust span. And how to measure it? Now, the middle part of every side of the bust, the middle part of every side of the bust is where you start and finish your measurement. Like for example, the middle part of this particular bust is here. So the middle part, can you see it? Now, if you check this place closely, it is giving me um, it is giving me 7 inches. Can you see it? It's giving me 7 inches. It must not go like this, so it's not like this, so it is going to be like this point to this point. And you see it? It's giving me 7 inches. So if you are to measure your bust point to bust point, this is 7 inches. It's giving me 7 inches. Now we are done with vertical measurement, we are done with horizontal measurement. Now let's go to circumferential measurement, which is going around, taking our measurement around certain parts of the body. Now the first circumferential measurement is the neckline circumference. This is what we call neckline circumference. For example, you want to make a shirt, or you want to make yes, most times you want to make a shirt or a senator outfit, you will always need this measurement. So now you take your measurement, don't take it so tight that the person will not be able to breathe. Just release it a bit. Can you see what I'm doing? Now, if you check this particular for this particular mannequin, the neck circumference is 15. See it? It's not too wide, it's not too small, and it's a bit free on the neck. Not too free, and it will still be smart at the end of the day. And you see it? This is 15 inches. Neck circumference. The next circumference we are going to be taking is our armhole circumference. So, but it is very important, please and please, always measure your armhole circumference. And this is how to do it. You take your tape, measuring tape from the starting point, and you go round. And you see what I'm doing. Now, when you are going round, don't make it fitted like this, or else the person will not be able to. Although there are some outfits that you can make that at the end of the day you can do something fitted like this and it will still be okay. That's for maybe outfits that you are using this tissue net for, because they are very stretchy. But please, to be on the safer side, for a beginner as we have, please and please take, when you take your measuring tape, measure the armhole circumference, and then ensure you have a free space like this. Not too free, oh, at least this way. Can you see? Can you see? See it? The armhole circumference of this particular mannequin is 15 inches. Can you see? This is 15 inches. 15. This is the armhole circumference of this mannequin. Now, the next thing we are going to take is to take our bust circumference. Now, when you are measuring the bust, ensure that your measuring tape goes exactly to the middle part of this person's back, exactly at the point opposite direction of where the bust is. Don't measure like this, please. Don't measure like this. Don't measure like this, please. Measure like this. Like this. Let it be equal on both sides. Can you see? Let it be equal on both sides. Then when you have positioned your tape well, go this way. Measure. My mannequin is slippery, but let's try to look at it very well. Okay, let me take it to the side so that we can. Now, this is it. I'm taking my measurements. Now, when you are measuring, ensure that your tape is positioned at the middle part of this person's bust, the fullest part of the person's bust. That's where your tape must go round. The fullest part of the bust. That's where your tape must go round to. My tape, sorry, my mannequin is slippery. That's why it's falling off. Let me also use myself as an example. Now, I want to measure my bust. See where I position my bust, my tape. Can you see? I position it at the middle part of my back, opposite direction of my bust, and then I'm going to take it well. Now, don't tighten your tape rope when you are taking it round. Just do it this way. Take it round and position it this way. Middle part of your bust, let it follow. Can you see? It's at the middle part. And then you take it this way. Can you see? My bust circumference is 40, 42.5 on a fitted level. Ensure that it's not the table is not pressing the person's bust or yours. Do you understand? Now my bust circumference is about 42.5 to 42 inches. If I use 42 or 42.5, I will still be okay with it because it's okay. It's firm and okay, it's not tight. Can you see? It's firm and it's not tight. Now that's how to take your bust measurement. Now the next thing is our under bust. Remember we took our shoulder to under bust the other time, so we definitely need our under bust measurement. Although it's when you are doing some advanced sewing, that's when you need your under bust measurement. Most times as a beginner, you don't really need it for now. So you take your tape rule around the under bust measurement of your under bust area. Ensure that your tape rule is under your under bust like this. And you see, let it be on like this. Now for this mannequin, I have about 27 inches. And you see, I have 27 inches. Now the next thing is our half length. That point is where the half length stops. You can decide that when you are taking your vertical measurement, you're taking the circumferential alongside. But I just do this step by step so that we can understand. Now you take your half length circumference. Our half length circumference is 24.5. And you see, this is it. Our waist circumference, you take it. Waist circumference here is about 27. Um, Ensure that it is a bit firm when you are measuring for a skirt. This is 25. Waist circumference is 25 inches. This is it. Now, you want to take your hip measurement. Let me raise this up so that you can see it very well. Now, just the way I told us when we were taking the bust circumference measurement, when you are taking the hip measurement too, you take your tape rule around the middle part of the person's butt. That is this point, this highest part, the middle part of this mannequin. You take it round. You can see this is where the fullest part, and you take it round that side where the mannequin, I mean the that hip point where the hip is very full. That's where you take it from. Can you see? Take it round this point. And you see what I just did? And then let me turn it back. So as you are measuring, check very well to be sure that you are doing the right thing. Position and adjust your tape. Your hip measurements. This is it. Adjust it and ensure it is giving you the right thing. So I have about 39.5. 39.5 is the hip of this mannequin. The next circumferential measurement is um, now when you are making a trouser. Let me now divert to that, because after taking this point, that's all for maybe you want to make a skirt or you want to make a gown. Now for a trouser, when you want to measure for a trouser, this point, this is your thigh, the thigh of this mannequin. You take your measurement between the person's lap and measure to around, you see that point, that same hip point, you take it to that point and you measure. For this mannequin, see, don't take it like this, take it like this point. Can you see? Can you see that this side is out a bit, this side is inward, this side is out a bit, so take it this way. Can you see the way I tilted it? And so this mannequin, for this mannequin, the thigh circumference is 25.5. This middle, 85.5. The next one is the knee circumference, individual knee circumference. So for trouser, you just take it round the middle part of the person's knee, put your hand inwards a bit, don't be too tight with it, let it be free. For this particular mannequin is 15 inches. 15 inches. Now, this is the end of the trouser. You go down the end part towards the ankle area. You measure, and then you put your tape rule around it. And for this mannequin, I have about 13 inches. Yours can be more than that. So ensure you measure. Another circumferential measurement that we have is after taking the length of your sleeve, you need to measure the sleeve circumference, which is the sleeve round. Now, if it is short, after taking the length, the point where your sleeve length stops. For this mannequin is for a short for the short length sleeve length of this mannequin. When you position your tape, it will give me about let's say 6 inches. Yes, 6 inches at this point, and then that point where my 6 inches stops, I will take my measurements around it. Now I will ensure that, except I'm working with a stretchy material, that's when I should make my tape roll to be firm. But if I'm not working with a stretchy material, I can just make it a bit free. Now for this mannequin, I have about 10 inches. So for every sleeve length point you are working with, take your tape around it and measure the sleeve length. So that's all about how to take accurate body measurements. So if this was really helpful to you, please kindly once again subscribe on my YouTube channel, give me a thumbs up, like this particular video, and share to as many that you know it will be beneficial to. So see you on my next video next time on this same channel. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.